Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to Overcoach. So, this is a little bit down the line for me. I haven't actually recorded some of the previous ones because this is the first one where I have the ability to use the replay viewer. And I want to use the replay viewer again because, heck, we haven't used the replay viewer in quite a while, have we? So, this is going to be a super duper interesting one. We're on board with Laggy here. He's going to play some DPS for us, some McCree, May, and Doomfist. And this is a 3.1k scrim. So this is a diamond level scrim. So one of the highest, well, this is definitely the highest scrim we've looked at. It's not the highest rated person we've looked at. But overall, they say it's a good game. But they struggled to take the first point, and they were wondering as to why this was the case. So we're going to take a look, and we're going to really break down this first point attack and see what went slightly, what was tough. Not what went wrong, what was tough. But let's take a look at this. So at this level of the game, you expect the meta to start coming in, and you can see it rolling here, can't you? Our attacking team looks like they're going to play Rhine, Diva, May, Anna, Lucio, McCree, which is very, very meta. Or it was at time of recording anyway. So the enemy team is going to play more of a bunker style comp with the Hanzo and the Ashe that has a lot of shield break potential, and the Ashe is very, very good at the moment with the recent buffs. Hanzo, he's still always good at shield break, and at time of recording he's on experimental, he's got a buff to his storm arrows. So we should move in pretty cool here because it's a scrim. We should all be in comms and it should all be pretty okay. So we're all going to move around here, and we are here. So let's take stock of what's going on here and how the enemy team is set up, because this is a major part of how to attack these points, and Blizzard World can be a bit of a pain in the backside sometimes. So, we've got a bunker set up here, but it's not really a total bunker because we've got the 2 tanks and 2 supports up here. The Hanzo's down here, he's probably going to make his way back to this team, and the Ashe is sort of setting up a crossfire over on this high ground. Unfortunately, if we had a dive comp, we could actually sort that out pretty easily, but we don't with this, so we got to rush the point. We got to take space. We got to rush them off. We are waiting here. I think this is we're wondering what to do. We're wondering how to attack. We're setting up a plan of attack here, I think. This is a lot of time wasted though. That's one thing, and this is a lot of time wasted. So we move in here. So this is the tough thing, right? We're taking point space, and we're taking the point here. This means that we have to force them to do something. But their Ashe, who has set up the crossfire, has got the first pick on our Reinhardt. And this is the issue here. This crossfire is really going to hurt us, especially with Ashe, because she can do a ton of damage with her dynamite as well. She's got free reign, really, to do whatever she wants while we can concentrate on this team up here. And it's a very clever way of playing. So we're just going to look from here. Our Diva goes up. There's not much she can do. We've lost our Reinhardt, so it's very unlikely that we win this. We do get 2 ticks out of it though, so this is not a bad push in some respects. But then the fight kind of falls apart. Our Lucio does pressure down the Ashe, which is not a bad move, but by then it's too late and we're going to have to reset. We are off, and we are going off the side of the map. So, what it has done is it's forced them off the high ground somewhat, and it doesn't look like they're going to reset, which is interesting. So they're not going to reset to their bunker on the top of the high ground. Hanzo's gone up there, but I don't expect him to stay there because you're probably going to rotate through that room again. But this means this gives us much more of an opportunity to rush this team. It's much more of a spammy team, it's much more of a spammy comp, and if you rush this quickly, you should be able to get work done. Let's jump back on with the May, and not in third person, because we are not playing third person Overwatch. So, we're spamming away. We don't want to get headshot by the Hanzo, that would not be nice. We're going to heal up, and we're going to go. So we're pushing in. Wait, yeah. So we got ever so slightly split there. I do not want social, do I? We got ever so slightly split there. So, hold on a second. Let's take a look at this. Let's go back 20 seconds, and let's have the speed. We're up there. You're getting healed up because you took some damage from the Hanzo. Our Reinhardt rushes in. We get halted, right? So that stops us from progressing up with our Reinhardt. But our Reinhardt doesn't adjust accordingly. So he keeps on pushing, thinking his team's still with him. And no one's there to back him up. His D.Va's not there to defense matrix him. He's got no heals because actually, in fact, when you drop from the Holt, you're going to be out. He's going to be just out of the line of sight from the Ana. So he gets caught out and he gets burnt down very quickly. And that's what will happen against a comp like Ash Hanzo, is because he's just got burnt down so darn quickly. And once you lose your main tank in this situation, it's going to be very, very difficult to win the fight. We have kind of taken the high ground up here. Ooh, we used the blizzard. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Look where your Reinhardt is. He's not back yet. Your D.Va is demeched. You have no tank line at all. Basically a 4-person team because Baby D.Va is not going to do much. You're low. Your McCree is up here on his own. Your Ana has died. This, in my opinion, was not an ideal time to use the Blizzard. I think that was a panic Blizzard. And Blizzard is extremely powerful. So, we did get a few picks though. They don't have their healers, so we're going to capitalize on this. Our McCree and our Reinhardt is going to move in. We switched to the Doomfist, which is not a bad pick, to be quite honest. But everyone is resetting now. They only lack their Hanzo. We could move now. We could have moved a little bit early there, in my opinion, so we wouldn't have had to deal with the damage of the Hanzo. But it's now 6v6 again. So, how do we attack this? Again, they've bunkered up in the corner. They're going to use Supercharger. We don't really want to... They had ults there, right? So they had their Gravitic Flux and their Supercharger, and we died almost immediately to the Supercharger as we walked in. That's alright, it's a quick fight, we get it out of the way. We could have waited the Supercharger out, but it's neither here nor there. So we're coming up on a Shatter, we're going to Reaper. That could be better to rush. We're coming up on a Shatter, D.Va Bomb, and a Reinhardt Shatter. I keep saying Shatter. Nano is what I want to say. So we're going to rotate up to the high ground once again. That's a big pick from their Zen. That's not going to get much. It did get their mortality field down though. You found the Hanzo out on the side. Can we kill him? Big pick. Big pick. They use their Zen ult. We should be able to take this. We've got the picks in our favor. We did struggle to deal with the Ashe. On that point is a big part. The Mei ult was funny. I wouldn't have used it the way you used it when you were already basically down both tanks. I think that was an ideal usage of the Mei ult. And I think we actually wasted, especially on the first push, time just pushing in. I don't know why we waited so much. There was no healing to be done. I don't know whether this was just a team discussion to say, right, we're going to do this, this, and this. But what mucked you up on the first attack was just a crossfire set up by the Ashe. But because you're Lucio, you all challenged the high ground. They moved down to stop the point from moving, to stop the point from being lost. That's a good pick. Let's pause it there. Because they moved down to the point because you were taking the point, so that's what point control can do for you. They lost the high ground and they never retook it. So it made it easier for you to attack. If they had retaken that high ground behind the point, it would have been much, much more difficult for you to rush. Because you would have had to rush up to them. Rushing to point, you would have taken so much spam damage that it just wouldn't have worked. So, in some respects, if the enemy team had set up again like they were on your first attack, I think you would have found it tougher. In all honesty, with the crossfire set up by the Ashe and the setup they had on the high ground made it very hard to get there in the first place without taking an absolute megaton of damage. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, but sometimes what happens, and I've got a feeling this is going to happen. Looking at our ults, I've got a feeling I know what's going to happen here. We're going to roll this. I think we're going to roll all the way through and finish him out. because that's very often what happens. A team will defend really well on first point, and I've seen it a lot on Blizzard World actually. They'll defend so well on first point. It happens on King's Row as well, and then they just, if they lose it with only like 30 seconds to go or something, they just end up rolling through the map on the back of just ult usage. So clever ult usage means you can just roll through this. You've got Nano, you've got Beyblade, and you've got Beat, which should see you through a lot now. They're coming up on Gravitic Flux, but you can counter that. They're coming up on Shatter. Shatter doesn't always work. Doesn't always get the value. So, moving into the third point here. We rolled that point. There was not really much to say. Let's see some Doomfist tech. Nice, we're on the McCree. He's dead. Something we have to be careful of is we're using a lot of our cooldowns here. We have no escape. That's unfortunate. You just punched Bob, didn't you, because you were trying to get out. Okay. Nice. We're causing the Reinhardt a lot of problems. We're going to go around. That's a big Blossom. Again, the McCree is in all sorts of trouble. Nice. We lost track of the Sigma there for a bit, but that's fine. You're focusing the McCree a lot. He's getting no work done because of you. He's not getting his flash off in time. Or he's not having his flash up to deal with you when you come in. Ryan's gone very, very deep. Yeah. Thought that might happen. We're going to use the Meteor Strike when we are down 2 again. Oh, Reaper's gone off on one though. This is going to be a scrappy, scrappy fight. Can we kill the Lucio? He's got beat. Ooh! See, if we get the extra fist, the hand cannon shot, we kill that Lucio and he doesn't get his beat off. This becomes so much easier. That's a big Death Blossom. We get the Ana here. Nice. And we finish him out. As I thought, we kind of rolled through it. Yeah. I mean, in the end, them getting the Lucio beat off didn't really matter. But at this sort of level, and when scrims, especially in scrims, the little things matter. And you probably would have finished with more time if that Lucio had died. And that's what I'm going to say there. That's what I'm going to say there. But again, you finished the map and that's all that matters. And 36 seconds in the time bank, considering it took you a really long time to take the first point, is really, really good on Blizzard World. We don't always see Blizzard World completed anyway. So that's actually a really good time set. And as I suspected, you completely rolled through the last part of the last 2 points of the map, because it very often happens like that. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think teams lose momentum. I think sometimes defending teams just blow their ult economy on defensive first point when they're worried they're losing it and they're so close to full holding, and it just mucks them up for the rest of the map. Especially when the other team comes in and rolls with a load of ults like you had. So, we are on defense now. We are rolling out with the McCree. We've got a Brig. So we're setting up with a pretty similar comp to what they were set up with. But they are going to run a different comp into us, which includes an Echo. Now we have double hit scan here, so we should be able to pressure this Echo out and stop her getting anything done. How are we setting up here then? So we're setting half and half. I like this actually. I like this. It divides attention, which is very good. Nice headshot. Very nice. Where's the Echo? He's over there. Right. I like to do this on this point. Let's just detach and look at the wider situation. Our Sigma is in a very difficult position. He's lucky to get out of that. You got a big pick on the Hanzo though. So, this is the problem with what they're doing. They're not doing what you did. They're not doing what you did. You waited and rushed because you had the Reinhardt and the D.Va. Again, headshot from the Ashe, the Echo dies. They are stood up there and they are taking tons and tons and tons of spam. And they're just, you're getting pick after pick after pick to delay them. it's not a team win. It's not necessarily a fight. Well, it is a fight win. You're getting a fight win off of one pick. You picked the Baptiste, then you picked, I believe, the Hanzo, then you picked the Echo. They need to make a move. Otherwise, you're literally going to spam them out. Again, there's another pick. It's actually crazy. Your positioning is good here with the Orisa. They can do nothing to you. Absolutely nothing to you. Deadeye. I'm not sure we really needed Deadeye there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure we really needed it, but we did get a pick off of it, so that's actually a proper fight win where, you know, they have to reset now. They are slowly building ults. They have built their window. They have nearly got the Transcendence. They are switching over to the Ash instead of the Echo, which is highly recommended considering they're going up against double hit scan. But we have both tank ults. We have the window as well. So we have got a lot of ults to work with, and we're coming up on a Bob. In comes a Sigma ult. That's a big Sigma ult, and we force out. Oh, see, that's a mistake from their team as well. They use the Immortality Field and they use the Transcendence. Use one or the other, you don't need to both. We're going to push them up here. Interesting. They're done for. There's no way to get out of this. We have lost our brig though, we need to be aware of that. But our brig should get back before the next fight now. That was nice aggression there. I haven't seen that yet from you guys. You've been spamming them out very well, but the aggression there to see that you could just wipe them out was very good. So this enemy team seems like it doesn't know the answer to what you're throwing at it right now. And I think they're just waiting for ults. And they're going to have 4 online now. So this is going to be a rough fight. This is going to be a rough fight. If you see this fight through, then you full hold them. Again, we've got this crossfire set up, which I like a lot. We back off from the window, which is good. Ooh, cheeky flash above the wall there. Again, I don't know what value it would have got. There's the ults. There's the ults. There's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we can do about that. When a team comes in with that many ults, they are most likely going to win the fight to your very few ults. So what are we going to do now is the question. Are we going to switch back to this rushy sort of comp? We're keeping the Sigma. Our Ash needs to back off. She does not want to die here. Good, 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 good. So we've got double barriers still, but we're changing to the Reinhardt, so we're a bit more rushy. Although we still have no Lucio, so it's kind of half and half. We're kind of half and half sticking to the comp we're on, and then going back towards what we were playing, closer to what we were playing on the attack. So we're coming in with the Deadeye. I like this. This wastes time. It zones. Actually, though, there's an opportunity here. What is she doing? She got split off from the Deadeye. This is just easy pick fight win here. So I would hope that you guys turn and pick her. Or not. She shouldn't have survived that. We could have killed her. We could still have killed her. She's very silly. Now we should kill her. She was stuck behind you guys for ages. In fact, actually, it worked out well for you because they couldn't attack with their Brigitte there. She was completely ineffective, but she never really properly reset her positioning by basically just dying because she wasn't going to get out of that situation. Let's jump back on board with you, and not in third person because third person always seems weird to me. I don't know why. It seems very weird. This is an aggressive hold, but I like it. I like it. I like it. We're getting the pick. Something we're dominating this now, and we have ults to just they have ults to come out of here now. So they should technically win this next fight. Looking at their ult bang, they have 5, so they should be able to come out and win this. We have the rally. That's it. So let's see how this fight plays out. There's the Sigma ult. Nice roll out of it. There's the rally. We got our Immortality Field, so it kept us alive. Bob's going to be a problem. Reinhardt got rushed down. I mean, there's not much he could do there. I mean, they're coming in with so many ults that we are going to struggle to win this fight. Now we need to pull out. We need to pull out here. There's no way we'll win this, and I wouldn't have committed the bob there, but it's fine, I guess. So, now it gets a bit interesting, because this is actually winnable for us if we play this right. So, ooh, we're going to go for a flanking Deadeye here, I think. I think that's what's happening here. So, teams on the front line, they use their window. That's completely ineffective. That's not going to get anything. Our Reinhardt has died, but we've traded that for the Ashe. Ooh, we're 2 down here. Ooh, we're playing with fire. We shouldn't make it out of this, though. We shouldn't make it out of this. No. We have got some picks. This is close. This is close. Their Rein dies. Yeah. The window comes in. The Deadeye. That Deadeye. I'm not sure about that Deadeye. I'm honestly not sure about that Deadeye. Simply because it was last fight, right? And we could have just used it in front of them. So let me check this a second. Slow it down. Hammer down, he gets the Rein, but he overextends past their barrier, no heals, and he dies. So, I want to wait for you to come in. The problem is they have Sigma, right? So he's going to just move his barrier to wherever we are. And in fact, he doesn't need to because his barrier is right there. Hanzo really should dink us here. He really should dink us. So, look at this situation then. You're using the Deadeye. Your Sigma is very, very wisely using his kinetic grasp on you so you don't die. But there's no one actually contesting the payload. There's no tanks providing a presence. There's no... The Ashe is not in a position to do any damage. The Baptiste is keeping an eye on you, basically. They've got Immortality filled up. I think we would have been better. And I know we won the fight here. This is me being really nitpicky. But I think we would have been better just Deadeyeing here. Just Deadeye here, really. With our Sigma, with our Ashe, with our Baptiste. And we've got a lot more frontal damage. This, it gets a pick. It's lucky. But I don't think it was the most ideal use of it. That's just my opinion, though. And in the end, it did work out. Because we had closer spawn. Pretty much. And our Ashe got a very nice headshot on the Brigitte. And Bolt comes in. And they're kind of stuck. They're kind of stuck, and then our ults come through and win us the game. But that's it, isn't it, really? So, in terms of what happened during this one, and I know you wanted me to concentrate on the first point and why it was so difficult to take. For that, it's just a case of, and I love it when Ashe's hat does this every time you pause. It's so funny. We gave a lot of time away setting up. In some respects it was right to do that, in some respects it wasn't. The first attack, when we were sat in here for a good, I don't know, 20 seconds, we lost a lot of time there, and I think that was just you planning a way to attack this point. Ooh, look. Mini Orisa shield. That is the new nerf coming to Orisa. She will be the absolute... She'll be the best main tank in the game if they make that her shield. Mini Overwatch, everyone. Hi, Sigma. Anyway, the way they set up, and I think it was brilliant the way they actually set up on this first defense. So if we go back to it a second, just to round this video out. The way they set up here, once again, Ashe's hat does it, because that's what Ashe's hat does. You were waiting in here, and you were like, right, how are we going to attack this? Their Hanzo is going to be up here with their team here. The Sigma's going to do a lot of spam damage there. The Baptiste is going to do a lot of damage. The Orisa's going to do a lot of damage. But there's also going to be an amazing amount of damage coming in from this Ashe. That dynamite is very big. There's going to be a lot of damage coming in from this Ashe. So the crossfire they set up here was really nice. And I think if they had maintained this throughout the point, they would have won it if you had stayed on that comp. Because what you would have probably had to have done, and what teams in at higher levels perhaps would have done, is switch to dive and dive to this Ashe with a D.Va, an Echo maybe, or a Tracer, or a Genji, and a Winston, and just deleted her from the game, because she just wouldn't have been able to, and then she wouldn't have been able to fight it the way where she is, unless this Baptiste flung an immortality field at her. But then you would have been able to perhaps roll through them, because they would have lost their crossfire and therefore a lot of their damage as well. But yeah, I think you struggled with the crossfire setup there on that first part. On the second part, I think again with the mini Arisha shield, again with this one, a little bit of a crossfire, but it was much nicer. But I think the error in this one was the Reinhardt going in when you guys have got halted. And this is how it very often happens, right? You guys, I think this is the part here. So this is the halt that keeps everyone behind this wall, right? It's everyone. All the heals, all the damage, all the defense matrix. Reinhardt, lucky, didn't get put in the halt. He is crouching awful low. He didn't get caught in the halt. So he's like, right, I'm going to make space. I'm moving forward. And I think this must have been a little bit of a mistake in the comms, because what you have to say to your Reinhardt there is, Rein, wait, we've been halted, we can't see you. Or, Rein, we can't see you. At that point, the Rein should just pause for a second. Then you can come out round this wall, and you will have sight on your Reinhardt again. And providing he doesn't overextend into the shield, which he doesn't, he would be fine. But because of that halt, your Reinhardt got ever so slightly too far away from your team and got melted down before you could get back to a position where you could heal him properly. And unfortunately, I think the Ana was trying to pump heals into him and it hit you. That's unfortunate. There's nothing you can do about that. But yeah, I think that's what happened there, because I can see the Ana heal there. So yeah, I think that's what happened on that attack. And that's a mistake, not necessarily just from you. That's not a mistake from you. That's just a team coordination mistake that cost that. And then I believe on the next attack, what happens on the next attack? I forget now. Let's just check this attack again. So we wait quite a bit here. Oh, and they used a supercharger and it burns us down. So yeah. They used a supercharger, we get burnt down, our Reinhardt and our Lucio, I think. We get completely obliterated through that. And they use their window as well, I think. And then we come through and take it on the next one. That's kind of fine. I mean, if you're going to push into a supercharger, you are going to push in at a massive disadvantage. You will see a lot of teams at the high level, as soon as they hear cease your resistance, they'll just pull out and say, right, we've ceased our resistance. We're going to wait until until your bongo goes away. And that's what a lot of Overwatch League teams do. So that's something you consider next time. But I think because you thought there's 1:10 on the clock, we have to go, you just went in. And luckily, it was a very quick team fight. And you pulled out very quickly, which was good. So that's my breakdown of those 3 fights. And the next fight was a pretty convincing win for you anyway, which allowed you to take the point and then allowed you to roll throughout the map. But that's my analysis of those 3 fights at the start of that. And it's an interesting one, this one, because we haven't really delved. It's a high level scrim. I'm not going to say this is not a high level scrim. I mean, most people will say GM scrims and master scrims are high level. Well, actually, Diamond is a pretty high level. It's by far above average. Average is, I believe, low gold. So this is a really interesting one to look at, and it's the first time we've really taken a deep dive into a specific part of a certain VOD. But that is my opinion on those 3 fights that you lost and cost you a lot of time on this attack. But in the end, it worked out well. And things to take away from it: if you do get caught in a crossfire like that consistently, try switching to a dive and try and just eradicate the solo Ashe like she was there, but she didn't stay in that position and they didn't stay in that position, so it's fine. The second one was just a team communication issue, I think. It was a very nice halt from the Orisa, and your Reinhardt got caught out. He just needed to be a little bit more passive there, and he may not have got the call from your team to say, hey, we've been halted around the corner. Can you just, like, hold a minute? We're not in sight of you. And this one was just a case of, you've got two options. You go in, lose the team fight quickly, or you don't go in, you wait the bomb go out once she uses it by pulling back, and then go in. That's completely a choice you have to make, but remember, you have to do the respawn if you lose it quickly. You did lose it quickly, you respawned, and you took it after that. So, it's not too bad. I think this is just one of those Blizzard World maps, but very often it works out like this, where people struggle on the first point to attack, and then once they've got through it, they can roll through the map. It happens on Blizzard World, it happens on King's Row, it happens on a lot of different maps. So yeah, this has been super duper interesting, and don't forget, please keep sending in your VODs. By the time this one goes up, the anniversary will be over, and there will be a reset on VODs anyway. I'm recording all of the VODs to make sure they aren't lost. But this has been super duper interesting, and I'm glad I did this in the replay view, because it really gives you an idea of what's going on, especially in this sort of environment where small things can make a big difference. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.